All right, guys. Hello, everybody. We've just had big news. I've just woken up yesterday morning to my mate messaging me, oh my God, Microsoft has gone and bought Blizzard. They've bought Activision-Blizzard, and they've done a big announcement saying, hey, we are buying it for $70 billion. And look, we're bringing all these games into our family. Obviously, we've got Starcraft up there on the front page. A lot of fans have been excited about. And this kind of comes off the back of course, Activision-Blizzard really having their reputation in the shitter because of, most recently, big sexual harassment cases. There's been rumors about, well, not rumors, there's been a lot of reporting of things called cube crawls, where in some of the teams, there was like really toxic culture where they'd go around drunk, they'd get drunk and go from cubicle to cubicle, and apparently the dudes would get really drunk and start being super aggressive sexually and slapping asses and making really inappropriate comments and stuff. And there was another case of someone committing suicide after being abused by her manager. There's some whole stuff. I'm not too deep on all that, but basically that came off the back of a several year stint of Blizzard basically as a company, and Activision as well, I think already was in the shitter in terms of their reputation. But the Blizzard section, especially where I'm more focused on coming from Starcraft, they had a great reputation many years ago, and they actually kind of really struggled in the early days of SC2 with a lot of kind of bad choices for our community. They really turned that around in the mid-teens to late teens. 2015 to 2018, 2016 to 2018 was a really golden time of StarCraft content and huge investment in our community and our game. And we saw that in some of their other games as well, Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm and all these sort of things. But the last few years has been a downwards trend. What do I mean? Basically, they've just ditched Heroes of the Storm at the last minute, and an entire pro scene just got axed with zero warning after contracts had been signed for the next year. Houses had been leased for gaming houses. Whole teams had managed their finances around their landmark Heroes of the Storm teams, and that was a really shitty move. We've seen StarCraft recently lose all active development, get thrown over to the Classic Games team, and we've gone from massive constant patches and content to, hey guys, we're not going to create any new content, but we'll still patch your game. But now there's zero communication about that, and sometimes there's ladder bugs and all sorts of things going on, and we hear very little to nothing from the employees at Blizzard. And the impression we get is that there's a couple of people in the Classic team who are managing multiple games, and they just don't have enough time and resources to do what they want to. So it seems more and more like with Warcraft 3 Reforged coming out half finished and all these sorts of things, Blizzard has just thrown their name as a company that creates really premium titles in the shitter. And people were saying, Bobby Kotick, the CEO of Activision, is just trying to grab as much money as possible. They're trying to pump out as many half-assed remasters as possible, get as much bang for buck, and then they're just going to abandon ship. And this seems to be what happened. The share price has plummeted like 40% in the last year, from I think it was like $104 down to $58 US. And this is off the back of that. And generally, people are like excited at BlizzCon for them to announce a new Diablo game. They'd been hinting at it. Obviously, when people expect a Diablo game, they expect a sort of game. And then they announced they were making a shitty mobile game. And everyone was like, what? So people were super triggered about this whole basically thing of where we no longer care about our esports scenes. We no longer care about our fans nearly as much. And all of this terrible kind of direction that Blizzard Activision was going in. Here in the StarCraft community, obviously the theory is that there is one intern who's still passionate about StarCraft who isn't actually paid by Blizzard, but he sleeps in a janitorial closet and comes out at night when no one's around to patch the game and kind of give us updates and fix things. And we appreciate the passion of that one intern, but we've been hoping for more. And honestly, people have said Microsoft's not the greatest company, this or that. I don't really know. What I know is this gives me hope, and it gives a lot of the StarCraft 2 community hope, as well as other people throughout Blizzard games. There's a lot of memes going around, people saying, guess what? They're coming. They're taking our game. They're going to disrupt the management of Blizzard. They're going to change that. They're going to change our games. They're potentially going to do all sorts of different things that is in a completely different direction of all these games that we love so much. Thank the Lord, right? This is what every Blizzard community is out there saying. I'm sure some of the Activision communities as well. Because honestly, we don't know if this is going to mean great things for StarCraft and other Blizzard games. What we know is it couldn't be any worse than the direction it was heading. And I know that's super vocal criticism, but I've been getting more and more loose with my tongue in the last year because it's just disappointing to see a company that had such a stellar reputation just shit on it. Warcraft 3 Refunded, as we called it, was the most unfinished remaster of a game ever. And it was just, and they're like, we're taking away support for the actual game, the original, which still works fine. So you can't play that unless you're using a dodgy, cracked version of it. By the way, here's our new version that doesn't work. And they did that so many times. So for this to happen, it actually gets me really happy because it is quite hopeful. And I woke up to the Starcraft community tweeting and saying, oh, we're so excited. This is so cool. This is great. Why were they so excited? Let's be real, guys. As I said, we've had the intern. We've been getting the silent treatment for a while. And what's the first thing they started streaming? I don't know if this was the first game, but one of the first games after this announcement, the Xbox channel went live. We have Clutch, the old host of NASL, North American Star League, hopping on playing some ladder games, and he was just talking about how he's really positive, and they got him on to play, that we will see more content and more community and all this sorts of stuff. So this is actually crazy. This is cool to see. We've been there, like this guy who just cannot get anyone to notice him. Starcraft communities felt like an invisible man. Our self-esteem has been drying up. And now, not only do we see a press release with Starcraft on the front page, Starcraft hasn't even been mentioned in an Activision-Blizzard investor report in like over a year. They mentioned literally anything over Starcraft. They've mentioned it. Now they're streaming it. And there's all this positive word about it. And we're kind of like getting excited. And I get we're all, at this point, getting overly excited. Let's be real. People are like, there's going to be a patch next week. There's going to be a whole new team of people supporting the game. We'll have new co-op commanders. And I'm like, easy there, Twitter excited people. We should all be excited, of course, because it could only mean good things, but it's going to take a long time to come about. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. So basically, a lot of people are saying, wait, Bobby Kotick has been confirmed as still staying there as the CEO. And people are like, no, this can only be good if we get rid of Bobby Kotick. Bobby Kotick is seen as the big bad cash-grabbing guy. I don't know too much about the details. You guys can do your own. I'm just going to take it for granted that the gaming scene in general and most of the community think of him as kind of the bad guy who's undermined a lot of the good practices at Blizzard and made it more quarter to quarter. Let's just make as many bucks as we can and not really think about creating good games, creating quality games, supporting communities. We think of the fact that Morhaime left as CEO and Bobby Kotick took over as not just Activision, but also, Blizzard CEO at some point as well there, right? And he basically, everyone saw that drastic change in the direction that Blizzard took the moment Mike Morhaime was gone. But it was already kind of heading in that direction. Now, people have pointed out, look, people are stressed over that. He probably will be gone once the merger is complete, within 6 months to a year. Some people were saying 18 months to complete the acquisition, to join the companies. There's a lot of legal things that need to be figured out, as obviously huge companies. This is a massive deal. So he's still going to be around for a while. The cogs aren't going to turn quickly, but I think a lot of us are excited that early 2023, maybe late 2023, we'll start to see changes in how they run their games, maybe even before then, fingers crossed. And part of what makes us think that is if you look at this article, they're talking about, hey, we're bringing these communities into our game. We want to bring these communities in. Look, we're committed to our journey for inclusion. We hold these people, to this. They've apparently been vocally critical of Activision Blizzard's management recently as well, saying, hey, we might not want to work with them in future. In about a month or two ago, apparently they were kind of saying this stuff publicly. So they're clearly trying to separate themselves from the sexual harassment kind of legacy that was the last few years of Activision Blizzard. And they're saying, hey, we're going to change that. But I think a lot of us are also hoping that they're going to actually support these communities and give a shit about these communities, and that's what they see as part of the benefit of picking up this company is, hey, we're the good guys. And if they can see the value in that as a big PR move and stuff, that's very good for us. It's also something which gets us bloody excited, because if we're ever going to see Starcraft 3, that might be it. I think there's a lot of people who are kind of going and getting really bloody excited. Starcraft 3, and the thing is, it is possible that we would get a Starcraft 3, maybe as not that big of an actual project, right? Jason Schreier here, he's a nice gaming journalist, does a lot of good stuff. Basically saying, hey, look, every game had to be $1 billion franchise under Activision, under Kotick's rule. They weren't interested in Starcraft because they thought RTS games not as popular, number one, and hard to do in-game transactions with the way those communities are. to the same pervasive nature they could do, where they can pump out a Call of Duty every year. Bobby Kotick probably wants to do it every 6 months, right? They can, 2 months after the game comes out, say, oh, here's some actual good maps for it, but you've got to pay an extra $20. And, you know, like the Call of Duty scene was kind of okay with that, right? Starcraft scene would not be very okay with that. And they were like, fuck it, Starcraft's not a big enough player base. There's only 2 million people playing it. They're not going to keep buying stuff. So the idea of saying we're going to make, and the thing is, I think you could easily make $1 billion off StarCraft 3, but I actually feel that Activision's whole idea was we don't want just $1 billion, we want $1 billion a month in in-game transactions. If we want to sell you hats for your workers and we want you to buy them, and we don't think these virgin try-hard RTS gamers are going to buy 10 skins a day and loot boxes and whatever other bullshit they'd love to put in it. Whereas Microsoft has been patching Age of Empires for 20 years, right? They've been releasing really good remasters. Guys, look at Warcraft 3 Reforged. Look at that as a remaster, absolute bottom of the barrel. And then you look at Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, which is one of the greatest remasters of all time. You guys can contest that if you want. But dude, Age of Empires 2 is a beautiful remaster. Has it got problems? Are there things that don't get patched as quickly as they should? Yes. Does that community have complaints? Yes. Do sometimes the map spawns get dodgy? Yes, it's not perfect, but it is such a beautiful remake of a classic game that I have played the shit out of in the last year. I've played so much AoE 2 Definitive Edition. And just the fact that they're okay to keep releasing these games and dropping new civs in these older games and keep kind of managing them and keeping them going for what is a smaller community and a smaller amount of money, it does create hope that, you know, Blizzard will go back to that and say, hey, we can make $1 billion StarCraft 3 investment. Or who knows, maybe they realize, like Frost Giant, hey, we can actually make a AAA game and we can put microtransactions in and we can create such a good game and put out so much consistent content that people are spending lots of money on it consistently. And it does turn into a cash cow, maybe even of like a Hearthstone level where people are buying so much stuff in it that you can just have a crazy big esports scene and you can support so much stuff. These are our hopes. Are these a little pie in the sky? Potentially. Just remember, the only way it could get worse, that's us dreaming. That's me dreaming, right? The only way it could get worse is if they take the hamster out of the hamster wheel, right? This is the line going around the StarCraft community. We're like, look, no matter what happens, we have some dreams, we're all sharing them. The only way they can make it work is if they take the hamster out of the hamster wheel that runs the servers. If they take the hamster out, the wheel runs dead, the servers turn off. I mean, that's the only way it could go worse. And with them putting StarCraft up there, hey, we've picked up StarCraft, streaming it, I don't think that's the case at all. I think the big question as well is past 2023, 2024, are they going to support the circuit? Are they going to re-up, put more money in to ESL and say, we want to support the ESL Pro Tour for 2024, 2025? If they do that, that would be huge. And that would get so much positivity in the direction of Microsoft. I would be like, oh, I would be so happy. For me, I'm a little sad at the moment, guys. It's been so long since I've cast a big tournament. I'm hoping I get to the next World Championship, and get over there to Katowice. We don't really know what's happening with that right now. It's been such a long time. So I'm not only sad because I'm missing StarCraft esports a lot due to the pandemic, with having to do remote events and then kind of getting back to studios, but me being stuck in Australia. And I'm like, the idea of getting a few more years of Pro StarCraft, or continuation of Pro StarCraft, and maybe even StarCraft 3 going under development in the next few years. Who knows, maybe 2028 we get StarCraft 3 released, 2029. It's a long time ago, but I think it goes from that point of view where a lot of people have been saying we're never going to get StarCraft 3 under current management. And I've said, you know, management changes at a certain point in time. Blizzard, I've always held by this, Blizzard will see the benefit in creating a game that has the most history of any real-time strategy out there. And they'll say, hey, that's an easy $1 billion, as long as we don't spend too much money investing in making it and spend $1 billion, $2 billion, developing the game. Take our time, do it with not as big a team. Maybe we make it for $100 million and we can easily make $900 million profit off it. That's what I think. I think you can easily do that with StarCraft 3. As you can tell, though, I am an accomplished businessman, so you guys should absolutely take my word for it. Guys, and to finish up, I think a lot of people, of course, sharing their own thoughts here. Zombie Grub dropping in. You guys should check out Zombie Grub's video. She had a great kind of summing up of the situation and her thoughts going over the whole environment, which you guys should check out over on her channel. youtube.com/zombiegrub. And we actually watched a bit of that video yesterday when this news first dropped. And I decided to do a video now that I've collected my thoughts a little bit. And I think honestly though, at the end of the day, there is one more very, very messed up thing which keeps on pervading the last few years of politics, of online communication, of people in their own little tunnels of self-reinforcement, right? There is a huge conspiracy going on. And I think you all need to join me in the fact that this has been very upsetting throughout this whole process. And that is this right here. Did you guys know, look, it was actually $69 billion. But they are doing everything. Big media are telling lies. They're running the fake news line once again. They're all repeating all these other numbers. 70 billion, 68.7. I've seen multiple headlines saying almost $70 billion, just under $70 billion. They paid approximately $79 billion. No one can say 69. Are we serious? They're like, oh, we won't be taken as a serious news organization? End the fake news. Spread the word, guys. It was actually, and I have verified sources on this. It was $69,420 million. I kid you not. That is verified. You guys can quote me on that. And that is because at the heart of it, Bill Gates, who's definitely still the active CEO of Microsoft, and Bobby Kotick had a meme off, and they did agree on that price of $69,420 million. So I got to say, as much as I sometimes have a bit of envy or a bit of animosity towards these rich CEOs, sometimes I've got to admire their gumption in throwing the memes out there. And I once again hate on the mainstream media for refusing to accept the truth. It was $69,420 million. And I mean, honestly, the memes write themselves. I can't believe it was 69. I did actually laugh the first time. I woke up to my mate who's in chat right now, messaged me. He's like, they're all lying, dude. I was like, what? He's like, it's 69, but they're all saying 70. And he linked me up this tweet, and I had a good giggle to myself. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this little summer for what's going on. Let me know what your thoughts are. And just remember, not only did we go from being that guy who just couldn't get anyone to even make eye contact with him, and not only did one of the hottest, most successful girls in the room, Microsoft, make eye contact with us here, she then walked up to us and said, hey, how are you doing? First thing after this giant announcement, I'm going to come and shake your hand and say, how are you doing, Starcraft? And that's what this little stream of it was. So if you're wondering why the Starcraft community is so overly positive, if you've had the silent treatment for like 3 years, and then someone makes eye contact and speaks to you like they're actually interested in how you are, what can you say? Your lonely heart just explodes, and that's why we're very positive right now. It's going to be a couple of years, I think, until there's any real changes for our community, but this definitely spreads in the right direction, and who knows, maybe sooner than later. So fingers crossed they do get on it. I mean, imagine if they just released a few co-op commanders and just got some patches and map roles, and maybe got rid of like the Masters/Bronze League ladder bugs. This would be game-changing. So guys, share your comments on what you're excited for. I can't wait to see exactly what they've got in store for us. And let's hope the future of Blizzard is a return to their roots as a company that makes the best games in the world. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.